Live. Yeah, that's true. Well, what does it matter? We're not in video. Why do I say
live anyway?
From the ESG Snowblower Convention.
There's no ESG snowblowers.
It's a Musk-free Monday edition of Business Pants. Joined as always by our Lord of the BS, Matt Moscardi. I'm Kimball. In today's propane leak called January 23rd, 2023, sexy story updates and sleazy academic papers.
Wow, you just hit puberty right then.
Let's do it.
All right. We're already doing it. Okay, I like doing it. Let's go with this.
Ooh, no.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
I don't feel like that, though.
Yeah, but you will once it keeps playing.
I used to hate this Monday format, but it's been a while. So I'm kind of excited about today. I'm just ripping some stuff that we've talked about, some updates, and I get to hear what you think.
I like this. Yeah, I'm going to do a nerd alert later too, and it's a weird one today.
Matt, the Justice Department is investigating conduct at the Abbott Laboratories infant formula plant in Sturgis, Michigan, that led to its shutdown last year and worsened the nationwide formula shortage. So there you go. There's a little update there.
Abbott Labs, is that one of our favorite companies? It feels like
it's part of the Chicago Brethren, the Chicago Brahmin.
We did a long presentation for a portfolio manager team, a really big one, several billion in assets.
Yep. And
we compared Abbott Labs board to Chicago mafia bosses. It was very good.
Yeah,
it was a good presentation.
Conveniently, I forgot about that, but it was actually a good presentation.
I mean, dude,
I was proud of it.
Have you ever had anyone come in and do analytics in which they name who the Don of the board is and the capos and the... We did that. We had that all labeled out. They thought it was great. They were like, this is the weirdest, best presentation we've ever seen. And if you want a presentation, let us know.
I don't think any Abbott Laboratories executives have fallen on the sword for this one. That's a tight-knit group, when I don't think no one's really taking responsibility for this one.
I don't think anyone's going anywhere. I don't think anyone's going. Although Miles Abbott did manage to leave he stopped being CEO prior to all this nonsense.
Oh, so it's kind of like Bob Iger.
Miles White.
Kind of like Bob Iger leaving right when the pandemic started.
Sidestepped it. Like these investigations don't come from nowhere. It takes like a year for some of them to like unfold. Sidestepped the whole thing. Stepped down, early last year?
A couple years ago.
Was it 2021 now?
I'm pretending to know this while I Google it. Yeah, 2021. Yeah, you're right. So clearly old Miles probably was walking through a Sturgis, Michigan factory and saw puddles on the floor, and he was like, uh-oh. Might be a good time to bounce.
Now's the time.
All right, so hopefully there'll be more coming out of this story, but I just wanted to update that people are actually looking into it now. Professional people.
Not us.
All right, AI's chatbot, ChatGPT. We haven't really talked about ChatGPT.
We have a little bit.
Not enough, nor the confluence of all the layoffs in tech. But
do you think ChatGPT is responsible for those?
Well, let's get into it. Here's the headline I pulled to get us going. A Wharton professor, and this could be your nerd alert maybe next week, is published a white paper in which he asked, would ChatGPT-3 get a Wharton MBA?
Oh, wow.
And the answer seems to be yes. He said the conclusion was that ChatGPT would have received a B to B- grade on the exam. That's not bad.
Wow. What is the point of, I don't know what that speaks to more. The terrifying nature of AI or the terrifying terribleness of getting an MBA at Wharton.
And I think he agrees and has said that this has very important implications for business school education. So he's with you.
It means that no one needs to have any critical thinking because ChatGPT just regurgitates stuff it read on the internet. It doesn't think.
And let's not forget that Microsoft is coming back big, baby. $10 billion investment already in this. And Satya Nadella announced that Davos last week that they're going to be integrating this technology into workplace emails, slideshows, spreadsheets, all of it.
What a terrible world we live in. I cannot parse that.
Is there an overlap with the layoff? I mean, there's probably not, but can we conjure up some story where we blame ChatGPT for the layoffs? Although you're giggling, but I guarantee you there are a lot of people in tech now who are or maybe just even white collar officey jobs that are probably getting a little bit worried about something.
I love that we were terrified for a decade about how the robots were coming for like manufacturing jobs.
Right.
They kind of came for those jobs, but you still
mostly like fast food and pizza delivery.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It was like delivering chicken wings,
which is okay because nobody wants those jobs anyway because they pay shit. Yeah.
But the real terrifying thing is, do we need people in finance or tech? Because you can just replace all of that or most of that with AI.
I don't think you're actually joking. I think it's probably
an
important question.
Not only is that an important question, but the next important question is we need to go through our database for board sabermetrics and see how many board members got their degrees at Wharton. Because if it's that fucking easy, then that's a lot of problems.
I don't know if anyone listened to our edition of Corporate Theater last week, but if you didn't, download Tuesday's episode. We actually have a sketch called ESG Pizza where I asked the ChatGPT to write a comedy sketch, and I just said write a piece called ESG Pizza, and the results are quite fascinating. Because one of the things that fascinated me the most was that ChatGPT wrote a script, and it writes it immediately. I mean, it does it right in front of you. And in the script itself, the character, when asked about, said, do you sell ESG pizza or something like that? The other character said, ESG? Do you mean ESP? And the other character said, no, ESG, environmental. So even ChatGPT knows that the world still doesn't really understand what ESG is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. All right.
ChatGPT, you just earned yourself another Wharton degree.
Next story. I picked this one mostly because I want one of my predictions to come true. I predicted during our prediction show that there's going to be a cyber attack on a major Fortune 500 company that was going to have long-reaching implications for not only for board refreshment, but just for everything. Cyber wars.
And our prediction paper that's coming out early this week, where I make it look like a sell-side paper so that real professional people can open it at work and not feel like they're reading something that two garbage men came up with.
Yeah.
I extended that theory into once you do the refreshment, you're going to refresh with more diverse members. And then ... you have the anti-woke saying, where's the meritocracy? It's very exciting stuff. But continue. I want to know about you deciding to self-fulfill your prediction.
Well, here's a story that made me think about it. A board hacktivist browsing an unsecured airline server stumbled upon national security secrets, including the FBI's no-fly list. She said it took her just minutes to access the server and find credentials that allowed her to see the database.
That's good.
Yeah. And even further, this one's for you, Emma Lurking. She said the most obvious pattern in the data is the overwhelming preponderance of Arabic or Muslim-seeming names.
Oh, that's great. That's classy.
Seeming
names? Yeah, wait a minute. Seeming?
This no-fly list, Matt, started after 9/11. It started with 60 names. It's now up to 1.8 million entries. But it made me think... if it's mostly Arabic or Muslim-seeming names, maybe this is also a list of future Southeast Asian CEOs, right? Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Maybe there's a confluence there, right?
There's a lot going on now. Yeah, this is great. Can we get that list? Can we get the list and add it to our connectivity data for board sabermetrics?
Reach out to Maya Arson Kremu. That's the name of the hacktivist.
I'm guessing she is currently serving time somewhere instead.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say I do have firsthand knowledge that as a hairy, bearded fella who has been pulled out of airline lines several times, out of the waiting for the airplane lines, because they tell me it was random, like a random search. There's definitely I'm just going to say there is an overwhelming preponderance of Arabic or Muslim
I'm go out on a limb
beards
here.
pulled out of these lines. Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that that correlation goes up when you're tan.
It helps. Yeah, an olive hue, a tan, it all helps.
Yeah, then you're definitely getting pulled out randomly.
Here we go. This one's for us, Matt. Activist investor Elliot Management has reportedly snapped up a multi-billion-dollar stake in Salesforce.
It seems like a weird response from the audience.
I don't know why they think this is so funny. I think they think anything at Salesforce is funny. Any structure with any co-CEO structure is kind of hilarious.
Is Elliot the anti-woke activist without being actively anti? I mean, they went
Explain
after
yourself.
Dorsey. Okay, so they go after Jack Dorsey
only
first.
when he was aligned with Africa, right?
As soon as he got on the Africa train, then they were like, you need to stop being CEO at two places.
Mm-hmm.
They start attacking him. They align themselves with Musk,
Mm-hmm.
who's now the anti-woke crusader,
Yeah.
and Musk buys Twitter. Now they're going after Salesforce, where Benioff is famously one of the more woke founders and directors and CEOs, co-CEOs, right? So what's the ask here? Are they asking for less African Benioffs? What are they asking for?
That sounds like a distinct possibility, yes.
Reduce your African Benioffs by 1/3.
The ask has not yet been made public, I believe, but let's get the discussion going. I looked at some of our own data, board sabermetrics data, and I'm just starting the discussion here. The obvious move for Elliot initially would be to counteract the overwhelming board influence of founder, co-CEO, and chair Mark Benioff. Right? Isn't that the move here? According to our data, he controls 70% of the influence on the board.
Wow, and that
Right?
sounds like an understatement.
So the obvious start here is board refreshment. I took a look at their board. 4 long tenured old white dudes on the board. So that kind of counteracts your woke Benioff theory.
Unless you're just replacing with other white dudes.
Well, here we go. There are 4 dudes, at least 66 years old, including Sanford Robertson, Matt. He's 90 years old. He's been the lead independent director since 2007.
Wow.
And he chairs the nomination committee. So this is an obvious...
He chairs the nomination committee?
Yeah. So this is an obvious one. And this is undercuts your theory that Benioff is woke. At least he's not ESG woke. Maybe he's
not board
greenwashy woke.
I think he probably knows that all of them are basically like placeholders anyway. Like none of them really matter. It's just him, right?
That's true. But here's what I found, at least, and again, a cursory look at our own data here at Board Sabermetrics, is that I can tell this to Elliot Management. We identify 2 of these long tenured directors as when it comes to worker productivity, right?
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
We identify them as being strong, and that would be Alan Hassenfeld and Maynard Webb. So what I'm telling you, Elliot, is that we have the data to target the other 2 chuckleheads first.
Yeah, get the other ones out. Get them out. Get them out.
All right, that's all I have for this.
I like that.
I
like when you use our data.
That's just me starting the discussion. And if you want, Elliot, if you're listening, or other activist investors, if you're listening, I know you are, reach out and we can make this conversation even longer and more painful.
you just, now they're turned off.
Because buy our data. Come on. What are you doing? All right. Anything else you want to say about Salesforce? Or our worker. Oh, the reason why, before you answer that, the reason why I bring up the worker productivity data is that there have been some grumblings and mumblings in the business news that one of the problems that Elliot Management has and other investors has with Salesforce is the perceived lack of productivity from remote workers. I don't know where they got the actual data for that.
No,
but that's the perception. So that's why I was targeting our worker productivity data, Matt. So you understand?
Are they only talking about the workers in Africa?
Again,
does not specify.
We'll find that out later in the week. Yeah.
Where's Scott Galloway when you need him?
The next story, we talked about Southwest Airlines. We previously reported last week, I think during our Vivek show, that Southwest is giving workers bonus points worth about $400 to say sorry for the physical and emotional toll of the holiday meltdown. Right now, there's new information coming out that they're giving pilots an estimated $45 million for 9,000 pilots. It's about $5,000 each for a bonus. Let's just say sorry.
That sounds better. That sounds like that's
Is this
a
a new
little bit
thing?
of a better sorry.
This seems new to me. We're now paying workers directly as apologies. Like, this sounds amazing. No? Is this new?
Yeah, I mean,
apology bonuses?
Well, this was a unique case.
Yeah.
In fact, Ari was telling me when it happened that Southwest, because they have to fly, there are rules in the United States where you have to fly the route even if like there's no one on the plane, and like
even if it's like a cactus and a drunk guy, you gotta fly it.
You have to fly it. So there are these planes that were flying. They couldn't get the people on board, but they had to fly them anyway. It was such a mess that like this seems like a unique circumstance in which you would pay somebody. Like, I can't. It's not like, like Doug blew up his leftover Chinese food in the microwave, and as an apology, the office manager gives everyone else some free wet naps, right? Like, it's not like that. Well, this is like a bigger deal.
I wonder if he's investing in, this is a $45 million investment. I wonder if he's investing in just keeping his job,
or the quiet quitting of a pilot, because that's the one you want to overachieve. Maybe
they're calling this a gratitude bonus.
Oh, that makes it weirder. Instead of a deep apology bonus.
I've just never heard of this. And why would the pilots care? Why is this such a? What do they care?
How did this? Who wants to do?
But how did this emotionally?
Not even pilots want to fly. Nobody wants to fly.
But what's the big deal? Why do they care if this is happening? Why is it ruining their day?
Well, I mean, it is interesting that like the dude who like takes your tickets at the gate, the one who everyone yells at because they can't believe that their
I get
Shih
why they
Tzu
care. I get why they need an apology.
Yeah, they needed the money.
Why the
not
pilot?
the $300? Like that, the $300. Where does that get you? Where do they get to go with that? And they get points on their
Rochester?
own airline. Like what?
Maybe Syracuse.
Isn't the last thing you want to do is fly your airline after your airline just screwed you for a 2-week period?
I just don't get the hardship that they went through.
I want to know what the gratitude bonus was to the board, who has had to endure tremendous hardship.
Yeah, all the late night apologies.
Yeah, that they haven't issued yet.
Up next, a cell phone. My first wrong prediction of 2023, although there is a caveat here. There is a caveat. Last week I predicted that the New Zealand Prime Minister, I don't like saying new twice in a row. I didn't like that. Would be another woman.
You did predict that, yeah.
I'm wrong.
No.
Jacinda's being replaced by a man named Chris Hipkins, but Chris certainly reads female in all the greatest ways.
This is pretty
dangerous
territory.
You can buzz me if you need. But Chris is the education minister, right?
Okay.
And he played a significant role in New Zealand's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So he's a giver.
If you said he was the head of HR, I would have taken it. But
okay, but education and healthcare, I mean, he's a good dude.
Somewhere Emma is. I'm just
saying. All I'm
very
saying is
that
women are better than men. That's all I'm really trying to get at. Can't buzz me for that. Maybe you can. All right, moving on. CEOs say HR is central to business success. You don't believe that, do you? All right, moving on. Oh, finally, let me wrap up my updates. I just want to. This is a section I'm just going to call stupid. All right, first an apology. This has got to be the worst apology in our tenure.
Really? That's saying something.
The Church of England issued an apology for its treatment of LGBTQ people last week, days after Bishop said it would not allow same-sex marriages inside its churches following a 6-year period of considering the issue. 6 years they thought about it. And here's what the bishops wrote, Matt. For the times we have rejected or excluded you and those you love, we are deeply sorry. And yet they still can't get married in the church. What? I don't help me out here, Matt. They're apologizing for excluding you, and after 6 years of thinking about it, they're still gonna exclude you.
They need to think some more.
What is this? Are you allowed to apologize for something you keep doing? How is that? Is that real? Is that possible?
Well, apparently you can apologize while doing it. Yeah. You're apologizing for what you're about to do, which is to continue to be shitty to somebody.
And finally, I'll give a nod to
Good
Vivek.
apology.
I'll give a nod to Vivek for this one. This is from our woke data war files. This is just fabulous stupidity. I love this one. Pink Floyd. You know Pink Floyd?
Yeah, obviously.
Pink Floyd fans slam band's cover art as woke despite 50-year history. One of the most famous and best-selling albums of all time, Dark Side of the Moon, has its 50-year history. They put out something to commemorate it, of course, with a rainbow in it. But what these fans don't realize is that the original album cover, Matt, had a fucking rainbow on it.
Yeah, it was a prism.
Yeah,
it's a prism where light goes through and makes a rainbow.
The new one has those same rainbow colors. It's not actually in the shape of a rainbow. But anyway, they're mad because they think that Pink Floyd has gone woke. I just like this one. They think that Pink Floyd has gone woke because of some rainbow colors. Yeah, there you go.
You know what? It used to be the
Excellence.
Like progressives in liberals in America were the ones to get triggered when you said or did anything. Anything at all would be like, that's a systemic bias, or that's now you can't even put out an album that was out 50 years ago without triggering a conservative. That's great. I love that.
Not to mention that talking about excellence, I think it's like might be the best-selling album of all time.
No, that's the Eagles. But
okay, whatever. Who cares?
Top,
it's in the top 5, top
it's
10,
like
whatever.
really one of the best, and it's a fantastic album. It's like there's nothing in it that's woke.
And again, there's not actually a rainbow depicted in the new 50-year anniversary logo. It's just the colors of the rainbow, Matt.
How dare they? That's
anyway,
really good.
I like that one. Yeah. What do you got? Come on.
All right, let's do some nerd alerts. And by some, I mean one. And by one, I mean this. Nerd alert time. This one's a bit of a shit show. Here's the upshot, though. I won't bury the lead. It turns out when you pay your workers shit and tell them that you're going to give the difference to charity, they do shitty work.
Yeah, that does sound disheartening.
All right, I'll explain. And consider this like something of a greenwashing parable. Okay? So this is for every company that like goes on their website, talks about their employees are their greatest asset, and we love diversity, and it's this big family, and all that kind of stuff. And they also talk about like how they donate like some proceeds to charity, but they pay minimum wage and they give no benefits. If you're that company, this is for you. This is a paper for you.
Is that us? Are we that company?
Yes, I've told Ari all those things. Okay. Jesse is HR, so
they get minimum wage, right?
Do they? Barely. Here, the paper is from 2017. It's an older paper, and here's the title of the paper: When Corporate Social Responsibility Backfires. Theory and Evidence from a Natural Field Experiment.
Ooh,
it's
like
by
this.
John List
and
Fatima Momeni.
That sounds
and
real.
it was published by the National Bureau of Economic Research, a basically government agency, but these are two economics people, professors, doing it. So here's what they did. They used Mechanical Turks, Amazon's Mechanical Turks. Do you know what those are?
No, I have no idea.
So you basically hire people to do really quick jobs, like transcribe something, do some quick math. I don't know, do little tasks.
Do a show episode of Business Pants,
and they're called Mechanical Turks. No, we got ChatGPT to do that.
Yeah,
they hired them, and they hired some with CSR framing, CSR corporate social responsibility, and some without. And the results that they found was that using CSR.
Yeah.
Increased cheating of the workforce.
You got to keep explaining this to me. Yeah.
All right. The job was they hired 3,000 of these Mechanical Turks to effectively look at pictures of German text and transcribe it. That was it.
Okay.
So little pictures. It was on average, it took the Mechanical Turk somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes to do the job. You get 10 pictures. Okay. You write down what you saw. They paid 10% of the money up front, and they took everybody to do it. And they asked them to promise to finish the work because they were giving money up front, and 90% of the pay would come afterwards. Okay. They had a 2-hour time limit to do this 5 to 10 minute job. And then they paid different salaries, and they had different descriptions. They gave some people just a salary, and some people a low salary, a middle salary, a high salary, and then they give some people this CSR framing. Okay, they would give a cash donation to a specified nonprofit as part of it. They'd say thank you for doing this. Because you're doing this, we're going to give a cash donation as a percentage of your wages. Yeah. And they said, our firm is committed to give back in meaningful ways. We are passionate about encouraging education for the next generation. We do our part by donating money to influential nonprofit organizations that support education for children in low socioeconomic backgrounds. Now, stop me when this sounds incredibly familiar on every website of a corporation.
It's like the Human Fund. Yeah.
And they give X percent of the wage, and they change the percentage.
Okay.
What they allowed the workers to say as they were doing their task, they're looking at this picture of German text. They could say it's unreadable, and it would pass, and they could still complete the task, or they could transcribe it. So what they measured as cheating is number one, did the worker take the 10% and run away, right? Not do the job.
Yeah.
And the second thing was, did they report images as unreadable that were clearly readable? They just said unreadable, 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 unreadable. Give me all the money, right?
Yeah.
What they found was that because of something they're calling moral licensing, when the activity had the CSR component, had this donation to charity and tried to appeal to you, the cheating increased by as much as 20%. Meaning,
what
they would just say, because they felt like their theory, the working theory here is, when you have someone who feels like the job is doing good, right? You can cut corners, you can cheat.
Why?
That's their theory.
Why? I don't understand that. Because they think that they're full of shit, the company? They're greenwashing?
No, because well, I don't really care about the company. They're giving money to charity anyway, no matter what.
So who cares?
So why not? Who cares about this job? They're going to give the money to charity, and that's kind of good. So I feel fine basically stealing from the company as a result. That was their finding.
What's your takeaway here, Matt? I don't help me out with this. What?
Well, my they also found that the cheating increased as the wage decreased. So if you got less money,
that I believe.
That I would believe, right? That would make sense because my takeaway here is the greenwashing one, which is to say, if you say a whole bunch of shit and you don't hire people to A, do that, or B, who believe in that, right? Because Mechanical Turks don't take these jobs because they believe in saving children, right?
Right.
Then you will have a workforce that doesn't care either about the thing that you say is your mission or about stealing from you because you're so focused on your mission and it's not theirs, right? I think it's a greenwashing thing. I think you have to be careful. Imagine if we were living back at the mothership and they announced that we weren't capitalist after all. We were going to feed Africans.
Okay. I like
would
this.
You do your job harder?
I would think I would, wouldn't I?
Or would you think to yourself, they're paying me shit already. Why do I care about? They're definitely not feeding Africans.
Am I still getting the same salary,
about any of this?
Am I still getting the same salary?
Well, they did an experiment in which they reduced your salary
that's different.
As part of this, and then the cheating was just off the charts. But yeah, even if you got your same salary, if you thought your company was full of shit and you didn't care, I mean, I think my read on this is there's a full of shit meter, right?
Yeah, that's what you're saying, right? It's in the face of greenwashiness. Does it just sort of make you feel deflated as a human
To
being.
just make you feel
that
like
you're part of
I'm part of
nonsense.
some system where we're pretending like we're
Inauthentic
saving the
nonsense.
children,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and I didn't join for that. I just want my paycheck, and then you sort of quit your way through work by cheating. That was my takeaway.
Is now the wrong time for me to announce that if you buy our data at Board Saber Matrix, you'll probably will definitely save lives?
I think that's the perfect way to end, is what I think. Buy
Probably,
our
definitely.
data, definitely save lives, and don't greenwash. That was
And
the
any
nerd
kind of
alert.
life you want to save, we'll save it. Dolphin, baby,
No,
no,
not babies.
Oyster.
Dolphins.
dolphins,
Maybe sparrows.
sparrows.
That's Damian Rawlis. I'm Matt Moscardi. We are Free Float. If you like this, tomorrow we have Corporate Theater.
Yeah.
Wednesday is Woke Wednesday. We do not have Vivek coming back yet. I have to reach back out to him and see if
Good.
he's willing to do
I want him
part two
back.
of the debate.
Come on back, Vivek.
But we might actually, I'm going to reach out to somebody else and see if they can give us their hot take on Vivek's hot takes.
I like that too.
Maybe another appearance from
hot-
Doug Chia.
A
We'll
hot
see.
take-a-thon.
We'll do a hot take back and forth. That's it. Come back then. Goodbye.